Hi, it's me, Brodie McLeod. Just going to turn my fan off and have a sip of coffee. Drop my vape on the floor by accident because I'm a fucking goon. I might apply some glasses. No, don't think so. I'm going to make a quick YouTube video which basically talks about the way that when I was hospitalised here at Sickness Hospital, I put in a subject access request, which the response to has now just been completely deleted from my inbox, which said that between 8th of August 2024, when I first arrived here at Western-super-Mare, where I am, in my room, I can evidence that for you in lots of different ways, but yeah, and the point at which I've received my data from NHS England, it was basically, there was nothing on it at all. You can look at the whole file for yourself. Of course you can edit PDFs. I haven't done that, you know. You just I can't show you the email that I can't download it for you in a screen recording, which is what they were worried I was going to be able to do. And if I had done that, it would have looked really bad because there's 3 different organisations, well 4 in total, it's 2 NHS trusts, right? And 2 private mental psychiatric facilities. That's Elysium Healthcare in Warrington, where I was in July 2024, and also Sickness Hospital, where I've been since August the 8th, 2024. Anyway, maybe I'll lose the stupid hat, and I will have some coffee and some vape to prepare me for a bit of reading. This video of me with shaving foam, although I haven't got it over my face, was earlier on. I was having a shave and the guy was like acting really shifty and was like literally too scared to come in the room alone with me. I will show you some other interesting things though. What have we got here? Wait a second. Let me have a look at my gallery. This is what inspired me to make this video. Can use it as the image cover. I'm so scared of being found out, and I'm not even sure what I've done. This is pretty much the situation that I'm in at the moment, and it's just completely absurd that they made such a glaring oversight of their own volition. It can only have been, and it wasn't me. That's just a weird picture from the kitchen. It wasn't me who found it out. It wasn't them who found it out. It was me, you know, which is pretty fucked up. Anyway, I'll read you this and then let you go to bed or have a wank or whatever you feel like doing with your life. Probably not watching this video, but you know, say la vie. The informational blackout, how the system made me a digital ghost. Hello, welcome. Obviously I've written this on AI, so you're gonna have to sort of suck it up that it's a bit shit. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain, which, you know, you can see here in the fucking curtain. I don't know whether AI is like super spying on me or one of my curtains has just fallen off today, actually. I like keep sitting on it, my bed there. Yeah. I'm pulling back the curtain on a systemic failure so profound, so dangerous, and so statistically improbable that it borders on the surreal. I call it the informational blackout. You can actually view the Medi2 data on my shared Google Drive with this link. I'll put this, this is a liquid mode version of the PDF, but I'll put the normal version in a link in the description, which proves that not only is this my medical record completely blank, which proves that not only is this my medical record completely blank, but the original communications containing it have also been inexplicably deleted from my Gmail inbox as of today. I knew this like 2 weeks ago. I was going to make this video 2 weeks ago, but I thought better of it and thought I'd just try and not rock the boat and chill the fuck out. But it's pretty serious, really, and you know, it's kind of like yeah, a bit ridiculous. Got my phone on airplane mode and I'm still getting notifications. Look at it. You can see the airplane mode there. That's madness. Let's try again. Yeah, look, airplane mode, and it's still giving me. That is bizarre. Might disconnect from the Wi-Fi. for a minute. Anyway, where was I up to? But the original communications containing it have also been inexplicably deleted from my Gmail inbox as of today. I need to make it absolutely clear that this conspiracy doesn't just implicate Signet Healthcare. It involves 3 separate healthcare trusts. My own name was deliberately redacted from my records by staff at Elysium Healthcare, as well as by 2 respective NHS trusts who not only redacted my name but also added documents to my primary care records containing completely spurious dates. However, while the web of complicity is wide, I'm going to focus the first part of this presentation primarily on the catastrophic failures at Signet Stoke Hospital. And what I'm about to share with you is the documented story of how a highly regulated healthcare system completely erased the medical reality of a detained patient. I don't think it was erased. I don't think they put it in there in the first place. I'm currently held at Signet Stoke Hospital under the authorities. What the authorities claim is Section 3 of the Mental Health Act. Sorry, all the paragraphing is fucked up on this. The normal document looks better and is easier to read. However, because the legal paperwork authorising my detention contains falsified, factually impossible timelines, and because the wrong NHS Integrated Care Board is unlawfully commissioning my care, effectively blocking any legal path to my discharge, my detention has been stripped of its lawful authority. Technically and legally, I'm the victim of false imprisonment. Since I was transferred here on August the 8th, 2024, through to May 25, my primary care GP record, the central foundational document of my medical history, is entirely blank regarding my detention. According to NHS Digital Spine, the period between August the 8th, when I arrived at the hospital, and May 2025, which is well over 6 months ago now, as of today, March the 18th, 2026, simply does not exist. I haven't submitted a second subject access request since then, meaning this dangerous gap remains entirely unaddressed and uncorrected by anyone in the system for the period in question, 8th of August to whatever date it was in May 2025. I don't know, because somebody's deleted the fucking email from my phone or from my Gmail account. My treatments and my detention have been completely omitted from the data I must address a crucial point here. I cannot independently prove the original digital transmission of this file because the emails containing it have been inexplicably deleted from my Gmail folder. I'm fully aware that anyone with basic software could theoretically edit a PDF to remove information. However, let me make it emphatically and unequivocally clear, I have at no point altered, edited or tampered with these documents in any way, shape or form. The data presented in the hyperlink above is exactly as I received it from NHS England. Then there's like a Gemini logo, lovely. What a load of shit. While detained on the ward, I've been subjected to significant heavy-duty medical interventions. I've been given intramuscular depot injections of antipsychotics like haloperidol, aripiprazole and paliperidone, which stay active in the human body for over a month. I've been prescribed various oral antipsychotics, too many for me to name, alongside a vaccination, various benzodiazepines and powerful opiate painkillers and antibiotics, I forgot to add there. These are not over-the-counter vitamins. These are potent chemical restraints and treatments which fundamentally alter the human physiology. If I were to collapse right now, if I suffered a cardiac event or a severe infection and was rushed to an accident and emergency department, the first thing triage team does is pull up my GP record. Because of this informational blackout, those emergency doctors would be flying blind. Let me outline exactly what that looks like in the real world by giving you 3 highly probable, potentially fatal scenarios caused directly by this missing data. So scenario 1, cardiac arrest via QT prolongation. So if I developed a severe chest infection, such as the aspirational pneumonia I actually suffered in 2024, that was actually following a relapse where I self-harmed and was in an induced coma, but it's just reading the data from the custom gem. I couldn't be bothered to edit that bit, sorry about that. I didn't have a chest infection in 2024. I was severely ill in the intensive treatment room, being resuscitated for a different reason. Thanks for bringing me back to life, NHS. Hopefully I won't die because of this issue then, paradoxically. If I suffered from a chest infection, right, A&E doctors would likely administer macrolide antibiotics like clarithromycin or anti-nausea drugs like on Dansatron. Because my GP record is blank, they wouldn't know my system is already loaded with aripiprazole and paliperidone. Co-administering these drugs is a severe contraindication that triggers QT prolongation, deadly disruption in the heart's electrical system, resulting in something which you can look at on the details there in the link. Scenario 2 is fatal respiratory depression. Imagine if I'm involved in an accident or experience acute distress regarding emergency pain relief or sedation. If an emergency doctor unknowingly administers standard doses of intravenous morphine or midazolam, it will mix with the unrecorded lorazepam, benzodiazepine and opiate painkillers already in my bloodstream. Could have done at one point, for example. I take lorazepam almost every day. This toxic combination causes profound central nervous system and respiratory depression. Oh, this is brilliant. Look at this. God, that's quality. Adobe's fallen over, look. Oh, bollocks. Document complete. All right, that's what I should do. Let's go to files. There it is. And let's just open it. I'm just going to read it from where we were up to in tiny writing mode. So scenario 2, scenario 3. Scenario 3 is unrecognised neuroleptic malignant syndrome. So being on multiple potent antipsychotics like a depot injection of haloperidol or paliperidone alongside oral aripiprazole puts me at extreme risk of neuroleptic malignant syndrome, a life-threatening neurological emergency characterised by high fever and muscle rigidity. If I present at A&E with these symptoms, doctors relying on my blank GP record would misdiagnose it as severe sepsis because they wouldn't know how to immediately administer dopamine agonists and whole antipsychotics. My internal organs would shut down. There is a citation for that scenario, which is apparently possible. Chapter 2, the statistical impossibility of human error. Now, you might be thinking, surely this is just an administrative oversight, a missing email, a forgotten form. Let me explain in layman's terms why the probability of this happening by accident is practically zero. When a patient is sectioned and transferred, the policy and statutory guidelines demand a rigid chain of communication. So number one is the responsible clinician, RC. That's a consultant psychiatrist. The lead psychiatrist is legally obliged to ensure continuity of care, which includes informing the patient's GP of their admission and the treatment plan. Then you've got the ward manager, has a statutory duty under the Care Quality Commission guidelines to ensure that robust clinical governance and accurate record keeping is happening. So once they were made aware of it, they've got a duty to police that as well. Then you've got the nurses themselves who administer the injections. Administering these depot injections have a professional duty under the Nursing and Midwifery Council Code to maintain accurate, what they call contemporaneous records, a lovely word that are shaped appropriately across care settings to safeguard the patient. For my records to be completely blank from August 24 to May 2025, every single one of these fail-safes had to be bypassed. The responsible clinician had to fail, the ward manager had to fail, the MHA administrators had to fail, the RMNs had to fail. They all just failed by accident, accidentally in coalescing harmony with each other. To have this happen by human error would require a synchronised hospital-wide bout of amnesia. It's a systemic coordinated blackout. But what makes this truly terrifying is that I was the first person to notice. Not the highly paid psychiatrists, not the auditing managers, not the care coordinators, me, the detained patient. If I hadn't submitted a subject access request to my GP and scrutinised the data myself, this potentially lethal oversight would have remained buried in the dark. Chapter 3, the deafening silence and the personal toll. The impact of this realisation on my mental health and my recovery has been pretty devastating. That's true. Imagine knowing that the very people legally entrusted to help keep you safe are simultaneously creating the conditions that could kill you in an emergency. Makes you feel incredibly vulnerable. It leaves you completely neglected, gaslit and stripped of your basic humanity. I've made multiple formal complaints to Signet Healthcare regarding this informational blackout. I've laid out the evidence for them. Their response, absolute silence. So nobody at Signet has taken an ounce of accountability. Nobody has offered a single apology. Nobody has acknowledged the severity of the issue or addressed it in any shape or form. Furthermore, at no point have I been invited to claim compensation or financial damages for the severe stress and massive inconvenience. I don't know why that's highlighted. You just have to, it's just being weird. And I can hardly read it. I've got a sharp tooth which has fucking lacerated my tongue. It's really harsh. And I can't speak properly. They won't book me a dentist appointment. It's well annoying. Yeah, claiming compensation or financial damages for the severe stress and massive inconvenience or the reckless endangerment of my life. They've simply buried their heads in the sand, hoping I'll just go away. It's an atrocious display of corporate cowardice. Chapter 4, institutional complicity and police negligence. When the healthcare system fails you this spectacularly, you are supposed to be able to turn to the authorities. So I went to Avon and Somerset Police. Over the recent months, I've made the police fully aware of this exact oversight. I've submitted formal crime reports. I've provided them with hard documentary evidence of falsified timelines, the blank GP records and the documented misconduct of a social worker assigned to my case who possessed no official counsel records and refused to provide professional credentials. And what has Avon and Somerset Police done with this evidence of criminal negligence? Absolutely nothing. Not once have they tried to phone me, not once have they visited the hospital to take a statement. They've not replied to a single one of my emails to follow this up by turning a blind eye to this documented systemic threat to a detained citizen's life. The police are actively enabling the negligence to continue. Chapter 5, the legal reality from willful neglect to corporate manslaughter. So let's get down to the hard legal facts of exactly what crimes are being committed here. I have repeatedly invoked Corporate Manslaughter and Corporate Homicide Act 2007. Let me explain exactly how this works. Under Section 1 of this Act, an organisation is guilty of an offence if the way its activities are managed or organised causes a person's death, amounting to what they call a gross breach of the relevant duty of care. While the ultimate tragedy has not yet occurred, removing the immediate grounds for a corporate manslaughter charge, the gross breach of duty required for that charge is actively ongoing. I don't know why it's like highlighted. I'm sorry. You can see me tapping the screen here. Just being hacked probably. If any of those fatal contraindications, the cardiac arrest, the respiratory depression, or the unrecognised organ failure I detailed earlier, actually happen, the framework for a corporate manslaughter charge is already perfectly established. The gross breach of a duty of care is what's currently happening. So, and that's orchestrated by the trust executives, the hospital managers, and the clinicians who are failing to maintain my medical reality. So, what can they be charged with right now? Currently, this crime sits under the specific subsection of the law, which is Section 20 of the Criminal Justice and Courts Act 2015. This legislation explicitly states it's an offence for an individual who has care of another individual by virtue of being a care worker to ill-treat or willfully neglect that individual. This systemic conscious failure to log heavy antipsychotic depot injections, that's what they call them, depots, if you've never been to hospital before, it's just a weird name for an injection, onto the national NHS spine, despite being repeatedly warned about the admission, is the textbook definition of willful neglect. Furthermore, under the Health and Social Care Act 2012, Regulated Activities Regulations 2014, Regulation 17, providers have a strict statutory obligation to maintain an accurate, complete and contemporaneous record of the care and treatment provided to every service user. Signet QSTAG is in flagrant continuous breach of this law. It's no longer a matter of poor administration, it's an atrocious, intentional danger to my life. When a hospital erases your medical footprint, they erase their liability, they multiply your risk. They've left me completely exposed, entirely vulnerable, and entirely neglected, directly impacting my recovery journey. I'm documenting this and I'm exposing this because the truth is in the data, or in this terrifying case, the complete lack of it. It's time for accountability. It's time for a law to be applied equally in great artificial intelligence slop. Even those in white coats and executive offices. I demand the immediate cessation of this unlawful detention and a full independent police investigation into this coordinated cover-up, and why my Adobe page is being all fucky and weird. Why my my phone is on airplane mode, like you can see up there. You see it up there? See what I mean? It's on airplane mode, but I'm still getting notifications. I'm going to jump back to the camera quickly, actually. Let's have a look. Just to make it aware that I'm not sort of like being a complete cunt talking about my mouth. You can see my tooth is cracked there. And that bit on the right. It causes blistering as it scratches on my tongue. I've tried to get the Signet to book me an emergency dental appointment, and the guy was on the phone to 111 the other day, and he started asking me, he was on the corridor and he started to ask me, he was like, they were like, what's the address? And he started saying like #2 Beach Road. Like, this hospital's massive building. It's called Signet Hospital. It's not a #2 Beach Road. Like, he's worked here for ages. And then when he tried to spell my name, he was like MEC. And it was like, this guy has, every time he's done my obs, he's been here, I've been here in hospital, he's worked here for the whole time I've been here, since August 2024, which is what? August, September, October, November, December, January, so that's 5 months. 2024 to 2025, that's a year and 5 months. Yeah, I can't really work it out. Maybe it makes me the person who's completely taken leave of my fucking faculties, but yeah, they were like, the guy, he's seen my name written down like every day, wherever it is, but he started giving sort of like false details to the NHS, who I don't think want to save me, and probably aren't going to watch this video along with the fucking police, because I've basically just slipped through the net, and now I'm stuck in a shit hospital that I don't like very much. But yeah, if you're involved, fuck you, and if you're not involved, call the fucking police, please, because I need help. Thanks.